Unity in Union Square. It was, of course, hardly an accident that New York's biggest memorial and show of solidarity with the thousands of World Trade Center victims should blossom in a place with that name. Not since Kensington Gardens in London, in the wake of Princess Diana's death, has there been such an outpouring of raw emotion and grief. It's nigh impossible to count all the tributes which have been left here. Suffice to say there are thousands of them, tens of thousands of them probably, and the memorial is still growing. And the park has also become a mecca for thousands of New Yorkers to come here simply to look, to reflect, to pray, or to cry. Even for the most hard-bitten observer, it would be difficult not to be touched by so many messages of sympathy for so many people, with the in memoriam starting now to outnumber the missing posters as the sad reality bites that thousands of people aren't coming back. In Brooklyn, alone with his thoughts and his nightmares, Belfast-born paramedic Roger Smith returned as close as his fragile emotions would allow him to the scene of what he calls his personal hell on earth, Manhattan. Viewed across the East River from Brooklyn, the uninformed eye won't see what New Yorkers see, the gaps where the Twin Towers once stood. What Roger Smith can't erase are his memories of last Tuesday when he volunteered for work after hearing about the first attack on the Twin Towers and seeing the full horror of the second attack for himself from Brooklyn Bridge. In an interview recorded for next week's Insight programme on his roof overlooking Manhattan, Roger Smith spoke of that dreadful day.
We were 100, 200 yards from the base of the World Trade Center when part of that collapsed, and we witnessed people getting buried under the rubble. And at that, people ran for cover when things started to fall down. But as soon as the rubble settled, everybody was back up, business as usual, getting done. I seen a form of selflessness that I've never experienced before. Nobody was worrying about their own safety. They were just prepared to get in there and look for whatever survivors or whatever of their work colleagues may have been trapped in there.
And what did you do then at that time?
At that time we'd set up our ambulance probably the closest to, after the initial wave when a lot of the fire trucks and ambulances were destroyed, we were probably the closest ambulance to the scene of the carnage, and we had set up like a treatment triage area closest to the scene, and got in the process during the day treating the emergency workers, fire department personnel, police, civilians, steel workers, engineers.
Roger Smith will forever have a chilling and eerie reminder of last week's disaster. His paramedics number is 9110, the 11th of the 9th at Ground Zero, the date and location of the horror. Ivan Little, UTV Live, New York City.